Have you ever thought about how sometimes just a few simple words can kickstart the most complex machinery? Well, today we're looking at something just like that. Think of it like a vending machine, but instead of chips or a soda, it pops out pure, focused innovation. Let's take a look at what happens when you put the coin in. And here's our coin. These three little words, Daily Innovation Brief. Now, it might look simple, but this isn't just a casual request. Nope. This is a command prompt. It's the key that unlocks a very specific, totally automated process that's built to do one thing and one thing only. So what is actually happening behind the curtain? What gears and circuits start warring to life inside this machine the moment you type Daily Innovation Brief? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Okay, let's pop the hood. That phrase isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a direct command. It activates the machine's core programming, a really rigid set of rules that goes by the official name Policy G2P001. The entire point of this whole system is to spit out one thing, a single, hyper-focused innovation report. You can think of it like a funnel, right? It takes that simple input and channels every last bit of its resources to create a very, very precise output. So now let's really get in there and see how this thing actually works. The blueprint for this whole operation is that policy we just talked about, G2P001. It lays out every single step from start to finish. And the process itself is basically a four-stage assembly line. It all kicks off with the trigger. We've seen that already. Then comes generation, which is where the report is actually built. After that, we hit adherence. And this is a super important quality check to make sure it's playing by the rules. And then finally, you've got scoring, where the system literally grades its own work. Let's walk through it. Now you gotta understand, this innovation engine is a picky eater. It can't just use any old ideas or information for fuel. Oh no, it has a super strict diet of pre-approved ingredients, a recipe it has to follow, to the letter. The main ingredient comes from one single approved source called G2-001 raw materials. Just think of this as the machine's official pantry. The policy is crystal clear. This is the only place it's allowed to get its foundational ideas. So if those raw materials contain research on, say, thermal efficiency and advanced cooling systems, well, that is the only data the machine can use, period. And the goal here isn't to just invent something brand new out of thin air. It's all about targeted improvement. The policy insists that the report has to focus on what it calls key betterment points for one specific core asset, which is labeled G2A001. So, for example, if that core asset is the G2CDCU, the report can't just suggest random new features. It has to focus only on improving something specific, like its modular cooling architecture, using that thermal data we just mentioned. These rules create some incredibly strict guardrails. The system has to use the approved G2S001 data, it has to improve that core G2A001 asset, and it has to obey the G2P001 rulebook. It's totally forbidden from pulling in outside ideas, from working on any other company assets, or, and this part is really critical, it can't even try to innovate on the policy itself. The machine is not allowed to rewrite its own rules. So, once the report is actually created, the job isn't done. The system then turns into its own harshest critic, and it judges the output against the very same policy that was used to create it. And this is its built-in, automated quality control. Every single report that gets generated is graded with a policy score. The goal isn't just to make something innovative, it's to make it in perfect, absolute compliance with the rules. The scoring kicks off with a really simple check. Did the machine do its most basic job? The policy requires exactly one innovation report. If it produces one, and only one, it gets its first 25%. Easy enough. Next up, it checks for focus. Is the report totally 100% laser-focused on those key betterment points for the G2A001 asset? Any kind of creative drift, any discussion of other topics, that's a fail. Stay on target, you get the next 25%. The third check is all about the ingredients. Are the ideas in the report built exclusively on those approved G2-001 raw materials? This is completely non-negotiable. It ensures the innovation is built on a secure, approved foundation. A pass here gets the score up to 75. And the final quarter of the score comes from a master compliance check. The system confirms that all of its data sources were up to date and that it followed every single rule, not just from the local policy, G2P-001, but a global one too.
So this right here is what a perfect result looks like. The final output is just this simple line, a policy score of 100% and one artifact generated. It's the system's way of saying, mission accomplished. I worked flawlessly, exactly as I was designed to.
Now, this all seems unbelievably rigid, especially for something like innovation, right? We usually think of that as being free and unbound. So it really begs the question, why on earth would you build a machine like this in the first place?
Well, the really crucial insight here is that this system isn't actually designed to limit creativity, but to channel it. See, by setting up these guardrails, it stops teams from drifting off mission. It guarantees everyone is focused on improving the most important assets. This automated quality control creates a consistent, reliable, and predictable output every single time. It's not about killing ideas. It's about making sure the right ideas get developed as efficiently as possible. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. Does putting such a strict structure around the creative process actually unlock a new level of focused, efficient progress? Or does it, just by its very nature, put a ceiling on those truly game-changing breakthrough ideas that, only come from a willingness to break the rules? I guess the answer really depends on what it is you're trying to build. Thanks for tuning in.